So I've just finished a new painting, and something is happening that I didn't think would. First things first though, before we get onto this hefty arty diatribe, it's absolutely freezing in here, so let's get the fire started. The truth of the matter is, I don't actually particularly like looking at abstract art. The sort of painters I like tend to be quite representative. Up to this point, I like looking at art that looks like something. I like artists like John Nash or Eric Ravilius, or less famous ones like Gilbert Spencer or modern artists like James Lynch. But what I've noticed is I actually don't particularly like painting like this. I've tried, and in fact loads of my early paintings were kind of like this, looked like this, really figurative. They were quite painful to paint, or at the very least quite arduous. Yeah, at the moment I'm just having this sort of wave of inspiration where I've kind of allowed myself not to focus on painting something exactly how it is, but instead how it feels, and allowing in that like slightly greater level of abstraction, and worrying less about like, oh, is someone going to know it's the canal? And it's really liberating, and I'm just making these paintings with loads of abandon and energy, and it's really exciting, and it's just such a different experience to like straining out a really good representation of something that like ultimately you could find a really nice photo of. So a big part of my learning to paint has been kind of learning how to recover from an illness called chronic fatigue syndrome. It's something that's not very well understood. You go to the doctor, they don't have any medicine, they don't really have a plan, you're kind of left to get on with it. And to be fair to them, they come pretty clean about that. But what I've learned is that a really important way to feel better is to kind of focus on anything other than not feeling unwell. So getting into a flow state is not just a way of coping, which it is, but it's also actually a way of finding or making energy. So when that comes to painting, what I notice is that there's certain sorts of painting that I really enjoy, and others that I find arduous, some that I find energising, others which is quite taxing. So this is the painting cupboard, and it is full of stuff which is like, I don't know, I feel like I'm getting braver and braver. This sort of really sticky, thick, expressive paintings. Oh, that way up. Oh shit, I've got paint everywhere. So yeah, I think what this tells me is that you've really got to be your own artist, and that's not in the sense of like I'm on this great existential quest to develop my own unique and groundbreaking visual language, or am I? No, I think it's that you've got to be honest and authentic in your relationship with the work, and you have to let in a sort of certain amount of abandon to make work that is genuinely a part of you, and as you know, and genuinely kind of an honest piece of art. And I think it's very much about letting yourself be steered by the process and that process of making, rather than focusing all the time on the product. I know that the great beast that is YouTube and its ever ravenous algorithm will want me to make a video every week, which, given the circumstances, ain't gonna happen. So yeah, hit subscribe, and when I'm able to, I will follow this up with something else. And until then, thanks very much. Bye.